The Israel-Gaza conflict is a complex and tragic situation. Its roots run deep in history. To understand the conflict, we need to go back to 1947. In that year, the United Nations proposed a plan to divide Palestine. This land was home to both Arabs and Jews. The plan aimed to create two states, one Jewish and one Arab. The Jewish community accepted the partition plan. However, the Arab leadership rejected it. They felt it was unfair. This disagreement led to war in 1948. The war resulted in the creation of the State of Israel. However, it also led to the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. This event is known as the Nakba, meaning catastrophe in Arabic. The 1948 war left deep scars. It created a refugee crisis. Many Palestinians fled to neighboring countries, including the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip became a place of refuge, but also a point of contention. The unresolved issues from 1948 continue to fuel the conflict today. The Palestinian Nakba was a defining moment. It refers to the mass displacement of Palestinians. This displacement occurred during the 1948 war. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were forced from their homes. They lost their land and livelihoods. The Nakba is a deeply traumatic event in Palestinian memory. It is a symbol of loss and injustice. Many Palestinians fled to refugee camps. These camps were located in neighboring countries, including the Gaza Strip. The camps became overcrowded and impoverished. The Nakba created a legacy of resentment. It fueled Palestinian desires for return and self-determination. The unresolved issue of Palestinian refugees remains a major obstacle to peace. The trauma of the Nakba continues to shape Palestinian identity and political consciousness.
The Nakba is not just a historical event, it's a living memory for us. My grandparents were among those who lost everything. Their stories of loss and longing have been passed down to us, shaping our identity and our desire for justice and return.
The Six-Day War in 1967 marked another turning point. Israel emerged victorious after 6 days of fighting. They gained control of the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. These territories were predominantly populated by Palestinians. The war led to the Israeli occupation of these territories. This occupation had a profound impact on Palestinian lives. It restricted their movement. It controlled their resources. It also led to the establishment of Israeli settlements in the occupied territories. The occupation fueled Palestinian resistance. Groups like the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO, emerged. They sought to end the occupation and establish an independent Palestinian state. The conflict entered a new phase marked by resistance and ongoing tensions.
Living under occupation has been incredibly challenging. Our movements are restricted and our resources are controlled. It feels like every aspect of our lives is under surveillance. But this has also strengthened our resolve to fight for our rights and our land.
Section 4, a cycle of violence, Hamas, the blockade, and the struggle for Gaza. In the 1980s, a new Palestinian group emerged, Hamas. Hamas is an Islamist organization. It gained support in the Gaza Strip. Hamas opposed the Israeli occupation. It rejected negotiations with Israel.
In 2005, Israel withdrew from the Gaza Strip. However, it imposed a blockade on the territory. This blockade restricted the movement of goods and people. It severely impacted the lives of Gazans. It created dire humanitarian conditions.
The blockade has been condemned by the international community. It is seen as a form of collective punishment. Hamas remains in control of Gaza. It has engaged in armed conflict with Israel. This has resulted in cycles of violence and suffering. Section 5. The Crushing Weight of Conflict, 2023, and the Humanitarian Crisis. The year 2023 witnessed a devastating escalation in the conflict. Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel. This triggered a massive Israeli military response.
The conflict resulted in the deaths of thousands of people on both sides. Gaza, in particular, suffered immense destruction. Homes, hospitals, and infrastructure were reduced to rubble. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza reached catastrophic levels. The conflict highlighted the urgent need for a peaceful resolution.
The international community called for a ceasefire. Efforts to rebuild Gaza and address the humanitarian crisis are ongoing. The 2023 conflict served as a stark reminder of the human cost of this enduring conflict. It underscored the need for a just and lasting peace. Section 6. A hope for the future towards a just and lasting peace. The Israel-Gaza conflict is a tragedy for all involved. It has caused immense suffering and loss of life. Finding a peaceful solution is paramount.
A just and lasting peace must address the root causes of the conflict. This includes the issues of Palestinian refugees, Israeli settlements, and the status of Jerusalem. Dialogue, diplomacy, and mutual understanding are essential. The international community has a crucial role to play in facilitating peace efforts.
A future where Israelis and Palestinians can live side by side in peace and security is possible. It requires commitment, compromise, and a shared vision for a better future. The path to peace is long and arduous, but it is a journey that must be taken.